Hello everybody. I wanted to do a review on this 10 foot by 15 foot Harbor Freight car shelter, which I have repurposed. I had mentioned, I was doing some remodeling on my house, and my problem was, I had to drag all my tools out, use my saws, hook everything up, and then put everything up at the end of the day. And if I just wanted to do a couple hours worth of work on my projects, it was taking me 2 hours to set up and clean up, and I was getting kind of tired of that. So I went ahead and purchased this. I'm going to give a little overview on it and what I think about it and what I've done. Maybe give you guys some ideas if you're doing something like this. I believe this was $249, and it was on sale in some capacity, and I used the 20% off coupon, and I believe it was $299, and it was on sale for $259, and then I used the 20% off coupon. I can't really do the math right now. I don't have my receipt. So setting it up after everything got laid out, I think it took about 2 to 3 hours to set it up, 2 people, and I didn't have 2 people for the majority of it. It's not very difficult. It's just kind of time consuming. So I'm just going to come in. You'll note here that I have a floor on it, and we'll get to that in a moment. But one thing that I could complain about is, if you're going in and out of it a lot, you unzip these zippers on either side, and you would manually roll up the door, and there's a couple of holes up there where you can put some bungee cords, and it wasn't very friendly to do. So what I did was I just put a piece of rebar through the bottom of the tarp on the bottom. You can see I have a rope system here that runs up. I have one pulley here, a single pulley. So this rope actually starts from right here, runs across, down the pulley, underneath the tarp, back up the back side, and it's actually tied to this pulley. And on the other side I have a double pulley, and I've done the same thing. It goes down, back up, and it ties to this pulley through these holes that were already here. So what that gives me the ability to do is unzip both sides and pull on this, and the door will actually roll up. This is not an original design. You can actually find this kit, and I think they're about $30, but for about $15 and some hardware, I was able to make mine, just going to the hardware store. So I did that so I wouldn't have to order anything. So I'm not going to be able to show the door rolling up because I have the camera in the hand, but I'm going to get the door up and take you inside and give you the rest of the tour. Okay, here's a shot with the door up. It just takes a matter of seconds to pull it up in that way, which works out for me. And inside, I just put a cleat here so I could tie the rope off to it to hold the door up. It's $1 or so at the hardware store. I went ahead and put a light switch right here, and I have wired in 2 4-foot fluorescent fixtures with a total of 4 bulbs, which puts out plenty of light at night for me when I'm working after dark. I put in a receptacle there and one down there, and that allows me to leave all my tools set up so I can come out and work for an hour and then be done with it and close it up. Now the actual structure itself, I have mounted to this floor here, and this flooring is simply shipping crates that I picked up, and I believe there's 12 of them under here, 40 by 48. They're just screwed together. They're just laying on the ground. Nothing's been leveled. And then I put 5 sheets of oriented strand board, or OSB, on it that I picked up at the home center, and just painted it with whatever paint I had laying around, which is kind of nice because at night especially, it bounces a lot of light off this white type colored floor. And I think I have about $50 in the wood itself, which for my purpose is a small investment. So what I did was mount the anchors down to the floor with lag bolts, 2 at each connection points in the middle, and then 1 at the end. And that eliminated the need for me to use the augers that you're supposed to put in the ground, which from what I gather they're just temporary anyway. And you're supposed to buy these longer ones if you wanted it to be more of a permanent structure. So I went this way. It seems to work. You're supposed to erect the entire frame and then you'll have to come back in and take portions of it apart, which is a little bit odd. Once you get the tarp over, after you cover the ends, you're supposed to take these back off and then slide these rods down through this, and then put them back together, push them down and tighten them up, and you'll do that at every point. So it does take a little bit more time to set it up. You know, you may be able to set it up without those on there. I didn't bother trying, I just followed the directions. So once you get it erected, you'll put the front cover on, which wraps around the edge of it, and then it comes down and has these ratchet straps with a hook on the end to tighten up the end caps. And you'll do the front and back. Then you'll put the main tarp on it, and they say to lay it out on the ground, unfold it, and get a couple people and stretch it all the way across. Well, I only unfolded it to the point where it was maybe 2 feet wide, and I actually put this on by myself and just worked it over, and then started unfolding it while it was on the structure, and it probably only took me about 10 minutes to get that on there. And then of course, you know, after you get that on, there's ratchet straps for it as well, and you cinch everything down. You know, I'm kind of surprised on how rigid it is, you know, front to back especially. I'm shaking the camera more than I'm shaking the unit. Side to side, it's got a little bit of sway in it, but it seems to work well for its purpose. You know, I think you might only get 2 or 3 seasons out of this tarp before, you know, the UV deteriorates it anyway. But all in all, you know, it's a little difficult to put together, especially when you have to take things apart. You really have to pay attention to the instructions, but it's going to serve my purpose. So it's just another idea and another review for what I paid for it. I can't complain. Just the time it takes me to put my tools in and out and keep my projects moving, it's well worth the cost in my opinion. Thanks for watching, and good luck.